Hey guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. If you missed my last video where I built a display cabinet out of warehouse racking, check out that video because today we're going to be continuing by starting to build the display in just one of these little sections. And I think every time I build one of these sections, I'd like to share the process with you. Now I'm thinking I'd like this shelf to be dedicated to Jurassic Park cups. Cups sound like quite a pedestrian thing to put on display, but actually in the 90s there are a lot of collector's cups coming out from McDonald's and Burger King and that sort of thing. And it just so happens that the Jurassic Park cups were really nice and really well made, and they came with really nice painted artwork. These were the UK cups. I've got the full set, and I have done a review on these on the channel. If you want to see an individual review on these cups, then check it out. The ones I haven't reviewed are these Canadian larger capacity versions. It's the same artwork but just on a larger cup, which is really cool because the artwork's a little bit more blown up. But I'm a big fan of these cups and I remember them coming out, so I get a big nostalgia kick from seeing these. But I'd quite like to have all of these on display on the shelf, and they're in such lovely condition. I think it's something that will display really nicely. So first off, I think I'll just lay these out how I'd like them to be displayed on the shelf in terms of their position. So I'm going to start off with the big cups at the back. Okay, so that's where I'd like those positionally, and now I want to do the same thing with the UK cups. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a problem. You can see the UK cups block the view of the Canadian cup collection, and I'm going to have to find a solution for that. But at the moment I just want to place things where I want them. So now I'm going to bring in these Jurassic Park glass tumblers. And I think they look very nice. I haven't actually done a review of these before, but they were glass tumblers, I believe released by Coca-Cola. And they have these really nice sort of enamel painted designs on the front. Particularly the Dilophosaurus tumbler is really nice and bold, and yeah, I'm a big fan of these, and obviously because they're glass tumblers they go with the kind of cup theme. Now, as I said, I'm going to need a solution to display all the collectibles without them including each other from view, and what I'd like to do is have a stepped solution where the cups at the back are highest, the cups in the middle are a little bit lower, and then the ones at the front, the glass tumblers, they rest on the shelf, and then that way you can see all the lovely artwork on the cup. So I've come up with a very simple solution. I've just taken some cardboard and some masking tape and stuck this together to make a box, and this is the tall box that's going to go at the back, and the Canadian cups are going to rest on top of that. I've actually made two of these so they go next to each other, and the reason why I've made two is because I think these might actually come in useful in the future if I want to rearrange my display. I might want to reuse these, and I'm not going to leave them exposed with the cardboard like this. I think that looks a little bit ugly. I'm actually going to cover them in the same fabric I've used for the shelving, and here's one I made earlier for the lower setting for the middle cups, for the UK release cups, and then that creates a nice little stepped riser for the UK cups to sit on, and they're going to sit behind the glass tumblers, and it should make a nice stepped display. So all I've got to do now is cover these larger risers in the fabric, and we should have a nice stepped display. Okay, so here I have some anthracite material. It's the same material I used on my racking build. If you haven't seen that video, link is down below. You can see me upholstering the shelving with it. And I've got my cardboard box here which I want to upholster. Now, I've given this a rough measurement before cutting it out. And essentially I just want it to make sure that it goes around the box with some to spare, and I've got quite a lot to spare, so that's good. And what I'm going to do essentially now is PVA glue the fabric to the box. Now, when I upholstered my shelving for my racking build, one of the viewers suggested buying one of these, a little rubber roller to apply the PVA glue quickly, and I thought that was a brilliant idea, so I went ahead and picked one up. You can see I've applied some masking tape on the rubber roller because I don't want the PVA glue to be permanently on the rubber roller. I might want to use it for painting or something one day. So I've just put some masking tape around the outside so I can peel it off afterwards and get rid of that nasty PVA glue. I'm just going to open up my PVA glue, and just like last time when I was doing my shelving, I'm just going to put a decent amount of PVA glue. So that's good, and now I'm going to bring in the little rubber roller covered in masking tape and just smoosh it all around. And this is just a quick way. Previously I was doing this with my hands, getting my hands dirty, and really there's no reason to do that if I can do it with this handy rubber roller, so thank you to that viewer for suggesting that very kindly. So that looks great. So now all I need to do is just turn this over and apply it to the anthracite. So roughly in the middle will do. Don't need to be too precise because I've got lots of excess. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll put something on top. So I've got a spare piece of wood here. You can just plonk that on the top and that'll help it dry. And this stuff dries fairly quickly. With my shelving I was leaving it 24 hours because I wanted it to have a good bond. But with something like this you can be a little quicker. Leave it to dry for an hour or two and then come back and do the other side. So you can very quickly get these glued and completely covered. Okay, time to put the last one in. I'm just going to slide it in at the back there. There we go, that looks good. And now I'm going to place the cups, the larger Canadian cups behind these UK cups. And the cool thing is about having both versions of these cups is that I can showcase the other side of the artwork. So for example on the UK one here I've got the T-Rex on the front, and then the Canadian one I can show Tim and Lex looking frightened in the Explorer. And same here, I've got the Spitter, the Dilophosaur, and then I can showcase the Dennis Nedry and the Jeep Wrangler in that Canadian version. You'll notice down at the front here I've added these Coca-Cola branded coasters. These were released in France and there's 4 of them all together. And I thought they go really nicely with these glasses. And as a final touch in the corner here, I'm just going to place my Jurassic Park rock relief replica. I acquired this many moons ago. I've done a video on it, link is down below if you want to see it. It's obviously meant to replicate the look of the rock relief scene just before the Mr. DNA sequence on the big projection screen. And I think this looks really nice and complements these cups perfectly. So there we have it, that's the first compartment done. I must say I'm really pleased with how fun this is, actually setting these out, designing the way I'm going to display them with the tiers, and also how cheap it is to make this. I mean, I'm just using this material and some cardboard and you end up with something that looks like a museum quality display. So I hope this gives you some ideas and maybe inspires you to make your own Jurassic Park displays out of all sorts of materials, just things you can find around the house. Okay guys, stay tuned for my next Jurassic Park display video. Rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next chapter.